Hey there, my name's Malte and I got my first client when I understood these things I'm about to share with you, okay? Let's get right into it. First of all, my promise to you is that by the end of this video, you will know how I got my first ever paying client and the lessons I had to learn over the past 1.5 years of being in business, okay? Plus, how you can do the same and do it much faster, all right? So it took me about like 1.25 years to get my first client. I don't want it to take that long for you, okay? So you don't need to figure out all these things for the next year or something like that. You can just do it in a couple of months, okay? So who am I? My name is Malte and I've been running an agency for the past 1.5 years. And I got my first ever paying client about a month ago and have since signed another client. And I make videos like these as well on IG, but shorter obviously. So if you like this kind of educational content and want to see more of that, but in shorter form, just go to my IG. It's at Schubert's Media. I post similar stuff to this on there. So if you like this, you will also like my IG content. Quick disclaimer before we go into the value of this video. There's not going to be any fancy editing in this video and no dopamine hits. If you need them, go back to YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, I don't really care. But I make these videos purely to provide value and help you, in this case, get your first client. So if you're down to learn, keep watching because this one is probably one of my most valuable videos I've created so far, okay? So this is what I needed to understand in order to get my first client, okay? First of all, we're gonna talk about the product, right? Then about your online presence, and the last thing is going to be time management. Okay, so let's get into product. What I want you to do, let me quickly move the camera, is to focus on the product. Okay, you can't succeed if you don't have a good product. Okay, the product is literally the most important thing of every business. Okay, it determines how much money you make, your reputation, and overall is the thing that keeps your business alive. So without a good product, you're basically fucked. And I'm sorry to tell you, but there are sadly no real shortcuts to building a good product or service. You really have to do the research for yourself and find out what's needed in the market right now. And you can't just sell whatever you want to sell, right? That's something many people get wrong. They just say, yeah, I'm passionate about this thing, and they build a product around it, but then no one wants to buy it because they haven't done the research and haven't seen what the market actually wants, okay? So once you have a good product though, it will sort of like sell itself, if you get what I mean, right? You know all these fancy sales lines you see online, like with the closers who drop like a line to handle an objection or whatever. You most often don't even need them if your product is a no-brainer, okay? That's what we're trying to do here. So make sure you don't just copy your product or service from someone else. Do your own research, look what your market is struggling with and build the best solution around that. That's how the best products are made. Wait, let me actually fix this real quick, right? It's really that simple, okay? You have to see what your market is struggling with, and if you build the best solution around that, people are gonna buy it, period. And obviously you won't have the best product directly on your first attempt. So if you're starting out in business, you don't have to be the new Elon Musk and build the best spaceships directly from the beginning, right? But still try to at least stand out and just iterate your product or service over time with the feedback you're getting from clients, from mentors, etc., right? And some of you might say, but I have no experience. What am I going to sell if I don't actually have experience in doing it myself? And this especially applies to services, all right? So what I want you to do in that case is to make your service pay on results basis, okay? That means that the client doesn't directly pay all the money up front. The client only pays once you deliver them results, right? This basically makes it a no-brainer for the client to go with your service because they don't have to pay anything up front and just pay once they get results, okay? And another thing specific to services and all of that, that some people might say is that, but I need to pay someone else to help me deliver the service. Just make a small upfront charge, trust me. Instead of like doing it free in the beginning and only getting paid when you get the results, just charge a small fee upfront and tell them why you have this fee, right? You can directly just tell them, hey, I'm new, that's why I'm doing a pay on results offer, but I have a team that I need to pay, okay? So I have a small upfront charge, but everything after that is gonna be pay on results, okay? That's how you wanna frame it. So then let's go to the next one, which is to build some sort of online presence, okay? Let me move my camera real quick so you can see this. And let me actually zoom out. So I want you to build some sort of online presence because this really plays a huge role in getting clients, trust me. The reason for that is people need to see that you're real, okay? They want to see your personality, they want to see how you speak, how you communicate, they want to see if you're the type of person they want to work with. And the thing is, most often these entrepreneurs don't even want to hop on a call with you to see how your personality is and everything. They much rather would go to your IG to see your videos, to see how you talk, to see what you have done, to then decide, okay, am I going to work with this person or not? And not only for the first client, but also for the future overall, having an online presence is probably one of the most valuable assets you can have as an entrepreneur. And this has been proven true so many times by many entrepreneurs out there, right? The thing is, when you have that online presence, right, you don't need to necessarily spend money on ads. You don't need to do outreach necessarily. You can just post a short story saying, hey, this is my new product, go get it at XYZ, and you'll have sales coming in almost instantly, right? That's the magic of having an online presence. You don't actually need to do much work for yourself, right? That's why I say it's an asset. You just have to build that online presence, and trust me, building a big audience definitely takes time, that's for sure. But once you have that audience, selling products just goes that much quicker than if you weren't have built an online presence, okay? And not only is building an online presence great for getting leads, but it also helps with converting leads, okay? So imagine this, when building an online presence, like on social media, for example, you have your Instagram channel where you're posting videos daily, right? You'll always be talking to the camera. And this will train your speaking and articulation skills, which are probably one of the most important skills when you're trying to sell on calls, right? Which are probably one of the most important skills you can have when selling on calls. Like, speaking and articulation skills are really the thing you need to convince someone that your product is better than the ones they've tried out so far, right? And it also helps so much with onboarding people, with really talking to your team, really with anything that has to do with communication between you and another individual. And the better you can deliver this message, obviously, the more clients you will get, okay? And this is especially helpful for the people whose first language isn't English, like me, for example. I'm German, and if you go back to like my first video on IG, you will definitely hear that German accent. You might hear it right now as well, but if you compare it to my older self, it definitely got so much better. It has improved so much, and my whole articulation, speaking skills over time have gotten so much better since I've been putting out videos. Another pro with building an online presence is that once you see small success with your social media page, you've acquired another skill that you can teach your clients if that's something they can benefit from. For example, if you're doing a service for another business, they can really benefit from building an online presence. So once you have acquired that skill of getting some followers, getting some views, making some good videos, you can teach that to the other business, and therefore this will make your offer more valuable, okay? And therefore you can charge more money. Sounds great, right? That's all the things you get if you build an online presence. It's really magic. Now let's go to the last one, which is time management. Hear me out. If you're not in order, your business won't be either. Business problems are just personal problems reflecting in your business. You are the business, especially in the beginning. The thing is, if you can't even manage yourself, how are you supposed to manage your business? In the beginning, you're probably even working alone, so this has an even greater impact. And I myself had to realize this because in the beginning, I tried to outsource this thing, that thing, another thing, like placing a VA for me to do my outreach, for example. But in the end, it's just up to me to learn the lessons myself, to do the work myself, and that is only possible with good time management, okay? And this time management skill is especially needed if you have obligations outside of running your business, which you most likely do if you're in the beginning stage, okay? For example, you have something like school, you have a 9-to-5 job, you go to university or college if you're in the USA, right? Etc. And I'm telling you, the best way to fit in your business work with all the other shit you have to do is waking up early. Okay, anywhere from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. is optimal. And obviously make sure to go to bed on time the day before, so you don't just sit at your desk like a zombie just waiting to fall asleep at any moment, right? I know that feeling too well. Don't do that, please. And what has personally worked really well for me is this. So first of all, I prepare a coffee before I go to sleep, right? After that, I set a separate alarm and put it on the other side of my room. Okay, and then I just set another alarm on my phone as well. Then I just make sure I go to bed on time, probably somewhere between 10 and 11 p.m., right? And then I wake up due to the alarm and I walk over to my desk to turn it off, okay? After that, I'll just be there sitting at my desk, chugging down the coffee, and then I immediately get to work. This is a great principle I want to share with all of you. It's called the Eat the Frog method, okay? And the Eat the Frog rule basically says to do the most boring, repetitive, and important task first thing in the morning before the rest of your family, your kids, your wife, whatever, even wake up, okay? This will make sure you don't get disturbed and can work in a flow state, which is probably one of the most productive states you can possibly be in. You might know this feeling when you're working or doing like any sort of other task and it just feels like the time is flying by and you're feeling super fulfilled doing the thing you're just focused on. This is what the flow state basically is, okay? So definitely wake up early and do this, because I'm telling you, this, for me especially, is the best way to get into flow state, because no one can disturb me when I wake up early and do the work immediately. And another thing I want to touch upon here with time management is that, yeah, I'm sorry, but you don't get to have weekends, okay? Use your weekends to work on your business. And the good thing is you still can have some fun things on the weekends, but only after you've eaten the frog. So if you wake up early, you will have plenty of time after having eaten the frog. And in most cases, you will probably get bored and just find more things to work on. At least that's the case for me. Once I have eaten my frog, like on the weekends, for example, and I have so much time left after that, either I just see what I can do with my family or friends, or if I don't want to do that, I will just find other things to work on, okay? And if you want, after having eaten your frog, obviously you can do the fun stuff after that. But I definitely recommend to have that period in your morning where you're just sitting at your desk, undisturbed, doing the boring work, okay? The great thing about that is that for the rest of your day, you will just have this feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment, right? You will know that you have done the boring work in the morning already and can now just freely do the things that you really want, even if it's just doing other types of work like recording content, building modules, or spending time with your family, with friends, whatever, okay? And in the end, this whole time management thing comes down to how much you want to prioritize and what you want to sacrifice. So let me give you an example. If you come home a little late from work or school, you have the option of either going to the gym or working on your business. I've had this decision probably hundreds of times, and each time you want to see what you want to prioritize, okay? If business right now, and take this seriously, if business really is your highest priority, you will put it over everything else, okay? So you might need to skip the gym to get your first client. You might need to not spend as much time with your family to get your first client. If it's really your highest priority, you will do everything to work on it as much as you can. And this is not to say to disregard all other things except for business, but it's really just to tell you that you will come across these hard decisions and sacrifices that will definitely happen, okay? And before I end this video, I want you to ask yourself, how much am I willing to sacrifice? Okay, bye.